Frida had the only one man of her life, who had appeared since she started at school and had been in there until she died. It was the famous artist Diego Rivera. He was older more than 20 years than she was. It was he who convinced her in her talent when she just started to draw. He was constantly cheating on her, and she had affairs not only with men but with women as well. A lot of her pictures are telling about their relationship. One of them is two Fridas. It is like photo before and after. Before the breakup with Diego and after that. Two Fridas are holding their hands. Both are unhappy. Hearts of both are put outside. But the one who is after the breakup is bleeding, and the surgical clamp helps to keep the flow in blood. They met for the first time when Frida was studying at school. At the time, Diego was painting on the school walls and already had been a well-known artist. He had heard someone shouted scathing comments to him, and that was the girl hiding behind the pillars. The other day, when he was painting the walls of auditorium with his wife, the same girl was pushed into the room. She watched him working, and his wife was irritated by Frida's confidence, but Frida didn't care about her reaction at all. Next time, they met a few years later, when Rivera was working on the murals in the Ministry of Education. Frida had required him to stop the work to relate her paintings she had brought with. Between these meetings, Frida had suffered a terrible accident which caused her to be stuck to a bed for a long time and started to paint. Frida told she needs an honest professional opinion because she had no time to feed her ego. The recognized artist Diego Rivera was struck by her artworks and convinced her that she had to continue to draw. After that, she gave him her address and told him to come to evaluate the other paintings. They married when Frida was 22 years old and Diego was 43. He already had several wives before and was known by a promiscuous lifestyle. Despite this, and the fact that Frida's family was against this marriage, the wedding had happened. There was nobody there from the family except the father. The father told the fiancée not to do that because his daughter would be diseased for all her life, that she was not beauty, but clever one. Diego took over all the expenses for Frida and freed her father from the permanent huge fees spent for her treatment. Frida followed Diego everywhere, moved after him. He was the star of the time. His exhibitions were in different parts of Mexico and America. She was considered just as an accessory of the great artists and was noted just as Mrs. Rivera in all newspapers for a long time. They looked like the dove and the elephant. He was a huge, fat, disheveled man with bulging eyes, like a hope toad, and she was a little girl 20 years younger than he was. Since the first days, their marriage was full of dramas. Diego got drunk at the wedding party and started to shoot from the revolver. Frida was so mad at this, and she agreed to move out to him only in some days after. Almost immediately he began to cheat on her, and she, in retaliation, also started an affair on that side, with the girls as well. Diego knew about this relationship, but rather treated them like innocent pranks. She hid her relationship with men more carefully, fearing of her jealous. He cheated on her with every model and random woman, but if there were any suspicion in Frida's infidelity, he made stormy scenes with an assault and shooting. In some years of togetherness, she started a romantic relationship which longed 10 years, and in being married with Rivera, wanted to get married with her lover, but he broke up with her and married the other girl. Diego asked Frida for the divorce so he could marry the actress, known by an addiction on ugly men. Naturally, Frida couldn't allow it and told the press about this relationship, turning all Mexican Catholics against Diego Rivera. One of the most famous Frida's lovers was the Russian revolutionist, the head of Red Army during the Civil War era, Lev Trotsky. Frida and Diego admitted him in political asylum with his wife in the Blue House, where Frida lived all her childhood and where her father lived at that time. Frida and Lev talked and passed notes each other right in front of his wife, communicating in English, which his wife didn't know. Perhaps an affair with the man respected by Diego tremendously was kind of revenge for the most hurt and betrayal for which Frida dedicated the painting. It was inspired by an accident she read about in a newspaper. A lover killed an unfaithful woman, stabbed many times all over her body, and acquitted in the court by the worlds. Just a few small nips. The painting was done just after Frida had found Diego in the bed with her younger sister. Even after that, they couldn't get apart for a long time. They rejoined but lived in different parts of the house which were connected by the hanging bridge. After the affair with Trotsky, they finally broke up, but remarried after a year. Frida made a condition they wouldn't have any intimate relationship between them, in which his betrayals turned unbearable for her. They should be friendly and independent. Rivera accepted this. During their lifetime together, Frida was pregnant several times, but as she had bad health, it every time ended up with miscarriage. These hurting moments were also pictured by Frida. The day before she died, Frida presented Diego a ring, which she bought for their wedding anniversary. It was supposed to be in 17 days, but Frida told Diego that she felt she would leave him soon. The night before her death, Diego spent near her bed, and she died in the morning. But doctors couldn't convince Diego Rivera for a long time it actually happened. They say Diego ate a handful of her ash after her cremation. Diego died 3 years later. He asked to put his ash near Frida's in the Blue House, but it was rejected by his last wife and his 2 daughters. Only in a few years later, 6,000 photos, 300 personal items, and 1,200 Frida's documents were found in the bathroom where Rivera closed up after Frida's death.